The safety boots you bought at Screwfix to protect your feet on site failed the exact safety standard they were sold to meet, and they sat on that shelf for the best part of 3 years before the safety regulator finally pulled them. That is the shop you trust for a bargain. Here is what that cheerful yellow warehouse does not want you to clock. 5 of the biggest names on those walls are not rival brands at all. They are Screwfix, wearing confident, German-sounding labels built to look like serious independent kit. The battery in their most popular cordless range fits only more of their own tools, sold in that one shop and nowhere else, so the cheap drill quietly chains you to Screwfix for every tool that comes after it. And they will happily charge you £5 to post you something you could have collected from the trade counter for nothing. None of it is against the law. That is exactly the problem. Screwfix has built the entire shop so the saving looks total and the catch stays buried in the small print. And most people walking out with that yellow bag have no idea. So before you spend another £1 in there, here are 10 things. Screwfix would rather you never worked out. The brands that are secretly the same company. The battery that ties you to one shop for good. The £5 delivery you never needed. And the recalls on the budget kit that the yellow sign will never mention. If this stops you buying the wrong tool twice, subscribe. At Crisis Report UK, we don't just shop smart, we shop with eyes wide open. Number 10. Half the brands on the wall are the same company. Here is what you assume. You are in the proper trade shop choosing between rival tool makers competing for your money. Here is the reality. Titan, Erbauer, LAP, Magnusson and Sight are not independent brands. They are Screwfix's own labels, owned by its parent company Kingfisher, the same group that owns B&Q. They are built to sit at deliberate price points beneath the big names. Titan at the budget end. Erbauer as the mid-tier brand pitched just under DeWalt and Makita and sold nowhere else but Screwfix. Several of them roll out of the same kind of contract factories in the Far East that build tools for other brands, in some cases the very same ones. The German heritage in the name is on the sticker, not in a German factory. So when you stand there feeling like you are weighing up rival manufacturers, you are mostly comparing Screwfix to Screwfix. That is not a scandal. But it does mean the choice on that wall is narrower than it looks, and the margin on most of it goes to one owner. Half the brands on the wall belong to the shop. You are not choosing between rivals. You are choosing between badges. Number 9. Half the price of DeWalt is true. The same as DeWalt is the bit they let you assume. The Erbauer drill sits just below the DeWalt at a fraction of the price. The Titan pressure washer is half the price of the Karcher. The saving is real, but the comparison is tier to tier, not like for like. The budget and mid-tier own brands sit a category below on the quality of the motor, the build, the lifespan, and the repair network behind them. For an occasional job in the shed, that is a genuine bargain, and you should buy one with confidence. Used hard every day under real load, the cheap tool wears out where the dear one keeps going. That is the oldest rule in the tool trade. Buy cheap, and for heavy use you buy twice, which makes the expensive one the cheaper one in the end. This is not a lab finding. It is the settled view of reviewers and the tradespeople who use them. Match the tool to the job. For the once-a-year task, buy the budget brand and smile. For the every weekend task, pay up once. Number 8. The cheap tool has an expensive leash. This is the catch that costs the most over time, and it is the one an older shopper is least warned about. When you buy an Erbauer cordless tool, you buy into the Erbauer battery system. Those batteries are sold only at Screwfix and they fit only Erbauer tools. They do not fit a DeWalt, a Makita, or a Milwaukee, and you are advised against cheap third-party adapters on safety grounds. So the £60 drill that felt like a steal has quietly tied you to one shop for every future battery, every charger, and every bare tool for the life of the kit. And if the brand is ever redesigned, as it already has been once, the spares for your older one can simply vanish from the shelf. A battery is £40 to £60. Buy 3 tools in the range over a few years, and the batteries, not the tools, are where the money goes. All of it to one shop. So before you buy into any battery system, decide that system on purpose. The mainstream ranges have cheaper spare batteries and far wider availability than a brand sold in one shop alone. Number 7. The long guarantee dies the day you lose the receipt. The box says 3 years, and on some tools 5 or 10. And that part is genuinely true and genuinely free. Here is the catch nobody points out. That guarantee is worthless without your proof of purchase, and it does not cover normal wear and tear, the parts that are meant to wear out, or anything used commercially. For a shopper who pays cash and bins the receipt, a perfectly valid 3-year guarantee evaporates the moment something goes wrong, because there is nothing left to prove when or where you bought it. And if your particular tool does ask you to register it online, that is one more step most people quietly skip. One reassurance. Your basic legal rights, if a tool is actually faulty, come from the Consumer Rights Act and do not depend on any of this. You are never left with nothing, so keep every receipt in one place and register the tool the day you buy it if it asks you to. The guarantee is only ever as good as your ability to prove the purchase. Number 6. The price that looks 20% cheaper than it is. Screwfix is a trade counter, and its website carries a trade habit that catches ordinary shoppers out. There is a toggle that shows prices either with or without VAT. Land on the without VAT view, or compare a without VAT Screwfix price against an everyday with VAT price somewhere else, and a tool can look 20% cheaper than it truly is, because the tax simply has not been added yet. For a tradesperson who reclaims the VAT, that is normal. For a pensioner doing a bit of DIY, it is a trap that makes the comparison meaningless. So before you celebrate a Screwfix price, find the VAT toggle at the top of the page and switch it to include VAT. If you are looking at a without VAT figure, add a fifth to it for the real price you will pay. Then compare. Number 5. The 1-hour delivery that costs £5. Rapid delivery sounds like a free perk of a big modern shop. It is not free. Screwfix Sprint, the service that brings your order in as little as 20 minutes to an hour, costs £4.99 an order with no minimum spend, and it is only available through the app. For a single small part, the delivery can cost more than the part itself. Even standard next-day home delivery is £5 on any order under £50. The one free option is click and collect. Picking it up yourself at your local store. For someone who cannot easily get to a shop, it is tempting to lean on Sprint again and again. And £5 a time on small, frequent orders adds up to real money over a year. Use free click and collect, or build your order up past £50 for free delivery. Pay the £5 only when you genuinely cannot wait. Number 4. 30 days, original packaging, and a list of things you can never bring back. You assume a big trade chain will take anything back whenever you like. It will not. Screwfix gives you 30 days to return an unwanted item, and only if it is unused, in saleable condition, in its original packaging, with all the parts, and you have your proof of purchase. And some things cannot be returned for a change of mind at all. Anything cut, mixed, or made to your measurements. Used macerators, toilets, and water pumps. And, critically, open boilers and boiler parts. Open the boiler box to check it, change your mind, and it is yours. For an older do-it-yourselfer who buys an extra length of cut cable or a spare part to be safe, these are exactly the categories that cannot go back. So buy what you need, not what you might need. Keep the packaging and the receipt for 30 days. And do not open a boiler box until you are certain. One reassurance again. If a thing is genuinely faulty, your legal rights are separate and last far longer than 30 days. Number 3. The budget kit gets recalled and the cheerful sign never says so. A cheap tool from a big chain feels as safe as any. The recall notices tell a more complicated story. A Titan 2,800-watt garden blower and vacuum sold in the autumn of 2023 was recalled because, in vacuum mode, objects larger than expected could be drawn in, break the casing, and be fired back out at speed, an injury risk to the user and anyone nearby. Owners were told to stop using it at once and return it for a full refund. That is exactly the kind of tool an older shopper buys for clearing autumn leaves. And it is not alone. Screwfix's own recall list has pulled its own brand floodlights and one of the Erbauer vacuums, among others, over the years. None of this means the shop is dodgy. A published recall is the safety system working, but it does mean the budget kit is not immune, and the only person checking is you. So before you keep using any tool, charger, battery or pair of boots from there, search the Screwfix recall page and the government's product safety alerts. It takes a minute and it is free. Number 2. The safety boots that did not meet the safety standard. This is the one that should give every trade buyer pause. In December 2025, the government issued a formal recall on a pair of Screwfix's own brand Sight Dealer boots. The official notice states the affected boots had defective anti-static protection and did not meet the requirements of the regulations on personal protective equipment, the very standard that the whole point of buying safety boots is to guarantee. And here is the part that matters most. Those boots have been on sale for nearly 3 years, from late 2022 until October 2025, before they were pulled. Read that the way a tradesperson would. Safety footwear, bought specifically because it was certified to a standard, that turned out not to meet that standard, sold for 3 years before anyone caught it. The recall itself is the system working, and the refund is there for anyone who bought them. But 3 years on the shelf is the worry. If you have a pair of Sight Dealer boots bought since 2022, check the recall notice today. Number 1. The only real discount is free, and they do not advertise it. So you have decided some of this still adds up and you want the best price. Here is the truth about discounts at Screwfix and the way to actually win. There is no advertised pensioner discount at Screwfix, no blue light card deal for the NHS, the forces or carers. The cheaper price you may have heard about is not a loyalty reward at all. It is simply the trade price, and you do not need to be a registered business to get it. Anyone can open a free Screwfix trade account as a sole trader in minutes and unlock that pricing. That is the only discount lever there is, and it costs nothing. So pull it. Open the free trade account before you spend another £1. Match the cheap tool to the occasional job and the proper brand to the heavy one. Register your guarantee and keep your receipt. And bookmark that recall page. Step back and look at the whole shop. You drove to the trade counter for trade brands and found that the brands, the battery and the price are all, in the end, one company called Kingfisher. That is not a reason to never go back. It is a reason to walk in knowing exactly what you are holding. So let us run it back before you buy another thing in there. Number 10. 5 of the brands on the wall are the shop's own. Number 9. Half the price of DeWalt is a real saving for light use and a false economy for heavy use. Number 8. The cheap cordless tool ties you to one shop for every future battery. Number 7. The long guarantee is genuinely free, but it dies without your receipt. Number 6. The website price can look a fifth cheaper, because the VAT is not added yet. Number 5. The 1-hour delivery costs £5. Number 4. 30 days to return, and boilers, cut goods and used pumps never. Number 3. The budget kit, including a leaf blower, has been recalled before. Number 2. A pair of the shop's own safety boots failed the safety standard after 3 years on sale. And number 1. The only discount is the free trade account anyone can open. A few minutes ago you were about to buy on the strength of a name and a price. Now you know the name is the shop's own. The price has a catch, and the way to win is free. That is not you being cynical. That is you shopping with your eyes open. So tell me in the comments, which Screwfix own brand have you bought? And did it last, or did you end up buying it twice? Name the tool. We read every one. If someone you know is about to kit out a shed or trust a hired tradesperson's trade brand, send them this first. The battery leash alone is worth knowing before you buy. At Crisis Report UK, we don't just shop smart. We shop with eyes wide open.